What's up YouTube, Kristo here, and I have my second part of my top 10 designer houses, number 5 through number 1. I already did part 1, I did number 10 through number 6 with 2 honorable mentions. Be sure to check that out. So what I'm doing is highlighting my top 10 designer houses, and that's based on the women's and the men's fragrances, and unisex of course. Just the designer releases. A lot of these houses do have exclusive or private lines or niche lines, whatever you want to call them. I'm not including that, I'm just looking at the designer offerings. I had a lot of really great feedback on the first video. I asked people to guess what they thought my top 5 would be, and I had a lot of people come pretty damn close, even people guessing what bottle they would think I would show. And I'm not even showing my favorite, I'm just showing something to represent the house, and I had people get almost 10 out of 10, like the 5 houses and the 5 bottles, which is pretty amazing. It definitely shows that people are actually watching and listening and remembering what I'm saying, which is pretty cool. So yeah, thanks for the participation, guys. Let's get into it here. Number 5, fantastic house, still quite young and budding, definitely going places though. I put them in 5th place. As much as I love them, I had to put them in 5th because they technically only have 1 men's offering, and it's absolutely fantastic. The women's fragrances, very good. They're starting to get a little out of control with the special editions and the flankers and the variations on slightly different things and all that. Luckily the men's range hasn't gone that direction, and hopefully it won't. Number 5 is Narciso Rodriguez, my signature scent, which I've used to represent the house. Narciso Rodriguez for him. Fantastic. This is technically the only perfume that the house makes. There is a flanker of it, the musk version, and there's only recently been announced a intense version, I believe, of Narciso Rodriguez for him that has a pink pepper note. And you know, I hate to buy into the whole flanker fad thing, but yeah, I'm gonna be in line to buy it as soon as it gets released, especially if there's a pink pepper note. That sounds amazing. The women's fragrance is very, very good. They are starting to get a little out of control, like I mentioned. They're just releasing flanker after flanker after flanker, flankers of flankers and things like that, which unfortunately is, I don't know, kind of tarnishing the women's line in my opinion. But the women's perfumes are still very good. Much darker and muskier and more herbal than a lot of you know, the women's fragrances that are being released today. It's not fruity and sweet, much more dark and somber feeling. Very fantastic house all in all. Number 4, this is a house that I'm really getting more and more into. Next year, I'll do this regularly. Next year, definitely, it's gonna go up, and you know, it's already in 4th place, so that's already speaking pretty highly of it. Number 4 is Chanel, and I'm putting it in 4th place because there's still a lot of stuff out there that I haven't tried yet. There's so many different variations and different editions, EDTs, EDCs, EDPs, and concentrates and all that, and I just haven't tried enough of them to put them higher. But with what I have tried, I've been very impressed. Recently, I've been able to try some older stuff, women's as well, and I've been very happy with what I've tried. There are a few newer scents for men that I haven't been particularly impressed with. I won't mention too many names, but I'm sure if you guys watch many of my videos, you probably have an idea what I'm talking about. Now, what have I chosen to represent Chanel with? Well, I wanted to choose something new and modern that gets a lot of stick, that a lot of people complain about, but I'm a really big fan of. Bleu de Chanel. Not my favorite Chanel, but I am a very big fan of this. It gets a lot of negative feedback. A lot of people criticize it. I love it. I really love it. This was my wedding day scent. I wore this the day I got married, so you can, you know, that speaks volumes about what I think about this. People say it's too boring, it's too generic, it's another aquatic, it smells like cool water, it smells like Axe body spray. I don't know where they get these outlandish claims, but to me this is really classy, it's really sophisticated. I really enjoy this a lot. So Chanel number 4 definitely will gain ground next year. Number 3, the number 3 is another house I talk about a lot, and the reason I put them in number 3 is because they don't make enough men's fragrances. They do have a few, but considering how long they've been making perfume, making cologne, I wish there was at least 1 or 2 more. You know, I don't like it when houses rush releases. It often makes them compromise the quality, and I don't like that. I like it when they take their time, but I wish they had done a few more. But they do the best unisex fragrances in the designer game, in my opinion. They do a lot, and they do them very damn well. Number 3 could be nothing other than Hermes. I'm a very big fan of Hermes's unisex offerings. They are really great. They're very creative. Perhaps not the O line as much, but they are fantastic. They are absolute quality. But the Un Jardin line, Voyage, really, really fantastic fragrances, and I do find them to be quite unisex. I know some people will argue, a lot of girls I know don't really like Voyage very much. But yeah, the reason I'm keeping them in 3rd place for all my praise of them is I wish they just had a couple more modern men's fragrances. They only have a handful, and only one in the last like 20 years. Terre d'Hermès is their newest fragrance by quite a long time, and it's not exactly new. It's been on the shelves for more than half a decade now. So that's why I'm putting them in 3rd spot. What have I chosen to represent them? Well, this is not my favorite. Like I said, these aren't my favorites, but I've chosen a really underrated fragrance that gets virtually no attention, especially in the YouTube community. That's Un Jardin en Méditerranée. Everyone was going crazy for Sur le Nil a couple years ago, and Après le Mousson and Un Jardin en Méditerranée got virtually no attention whatsoever, which is unfortunate. This is really fantastic. It's like a really boozy, herbal feeling, cypress, pistachio, fig, really, really interesting. The women's offerings from Hermes are very nice as well, which is another reason I put them in 3rd spot. 24 Faubourg and Kelly Kalash, really, really fantastic. All right, number 2. Number 2, you've probably already guessed what number 1 and 2 are just by deduction. Number 2, I put in 2nd place. Well, why is it in 2nd and not in 1st? Because they're not making the best perfume anymore. They're definitely losing their quality. They're definitely losing a lot of their credibility, I think, now. They are clearly just trying to make money. They're making the most boring, unbelievably unoriginal stuff now. But unfortunately, this house, or fortunately I should say, this house wasn't always like that. Number 2 is Gucci. And the 3 classic, modern classic Tom Ford era Gucci's, Gucci Pour Homme, Gucci Rush, and Gucci Envy are 3 of my all-time favorites. I am very outspoken about Gucci Pour Homme 1. I love Rush, I love Envy. Gucci Pour Homme 2 is absolutely out of this world. That's probably one of my most used designers. But yeah, unfortunately, this whole Gucci Guilty episode, Gucci by Gucci, I really, really was not a fan of that at all. Gucci by Gucci Sport, I could handle. It's certainly not the classic Gucci quality. But it's just a pass. It's like kind of a C plus, or maybe even just a C in terms of grading to me. but that shows you how much I like the 4 earlier Guccis. I'm not really looking at the classic Guccis, I'm not really big onto them. And as well, the women's fragrances from Gucci, I haven't actually been very grabbed by anything Gucci's made for women. They haven't really been that interesting, so that shows you how much those 4 for men impacted me, because that's basically how they got into second place, is just those 4 absolutely exceptional releases brought Gucci into second place. Unfortunately, I can't see Gucci climbing ever into first place just because of their ethics now. They're totally going downhill, but they're making bucket loads of money, so they don't seem to care. Number 1, everybody knows what it is, so I'm not going to dance around it. It is actually April 1st today, and I was thinking of doing a bit of an April Fool's gag and showing you guys like a CK bottle or a Ralph Lauren bottle or something, and saying that I totally had to change heart in it, but I'm not going to do that. Dior. It's Dior. Everyone knows. Of all the guesses I had, everybody knows I love Dior. I can't get enough of them, and you know, and it's a house that has a long history, more than 60 years, and there's so many more fragrances out there, especially the women's, that I'm just starting to get into and I'm really enjoying. If it was even possible for Chanel to, for Dior to go higher, they would. Chanel is going to climb in the rankings, but nothing will ever bump Dior out of my number 1. So what have I chosen to represent Dior? Well, I did a video on this, I've talked about it a few times. I'm a really big fan of this, and I still don't understand why it doesn't get as much attention. A lot of people really dismiss it. Dior Higher. Really fantastic, kind of spring, summery scent. It does have basil in it, which I'm not a big fan of basil, but it's got a really nice cypress note. It's got bitter pear, bitter woods in it. Man, fantastic fragrance, so good. Love it, absolutely love this to death. Again, not my favorite Dior scent, but I'm really big fan of Higher. So there you go, guys. My top 10 perfume houses with 2 honorable mentions. I know part 2, 5 through 1, a lot of people probably weren't that surprised, but you know, I still had to show it, and there's a lot of great things that I could say about them, and even a few critiques I had about those houses. So if you haven't already, in my previous video, let me know what your top 5, top 10 are, what your thoughts about are on the houses that I picked, especially, you know, Dior, Hermes, and, Dior, Chanel, and Gucci, because they're a house that, you know, they're trying to stay modern, trying to keep up the times, and a lot of people are kind of, you know, losing a bit of faith in them. I want to know what you guys think. So thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you again soon.